For me, all of this started with Game Center CX. About 10 years ago, on a forgotten message board, someone posted something pointing out this Japanese reality show where a comedian played old video games. I watched it, I enjoyed it, and then a little while later, on a different message board, somebody brought it up and I go, "Oh, I like that show too." And that person translated one of the episodes and made a script for it. And then I took that script and put subtitles on the episode. And before long, I was helping subtitle a lot of Game Center CX for people. And in that process, I got the idea into my head, what if I collected all the games that were played on the show? And some of these were easy to collect in the US and various NES cartridges, but some of them were Japanese only. And so on a trip to Japan, I bought myself a Famicom and the start of a Famicom collection. After a while, I started thinking maybe I should collect Famicom in general. And my collection's grown quite a bit. I now have around 700 Famicom games. I didn't just want to keep a hoard of games for myself, though. I like sharing this stuff with people. When it comes to video games, my hobby is getting the weird and unusual ones. One thing I found out while collecting Famicom games is that there isn't a lot of information out there about a lot of them. For many games, you might find 3-minute video on YouTube where somebody plays it for a couple seconds and then turns it off. Or in the worst cases, I might find an entry that just tells me that this is a game that exists. Even on the Japanese side of the internet, a lot of this stuff is poorly documented. What Famidaily is going to be is an attempt to document all 1,041 commercial game releases for the Famicom that were licensed. I'm going to do this in chronological order, starting from the era of single-screen arcade games with Donkey Kong, Donkey Kong Jr., and Popeye on launch day in 1983, and coming to an end in the era of 3D graphics and complex games in 1994 with Adventure Island 4. I know I'm not going to be able to keep up the daily part of the name. The pace of producing a video a day is pretty grueling. However, as I record this, I have over 30 episodes in the can. Enough that I'm expecting the first 4 or 5 months to be daily. Once I've run out my buffer, we'll see where things lie. Since my goal is to produce a video every day on a game, a lot of these aren't going to be as in-depth as they could be. More of a general overview, a sampling, a quick demonstration. Since this is going to involve a lot of Japanese material, I suppose I should mention how familiar I am with the language. While I've taken several years of Japanese in college, I describe my abilities as just enough to get into trouble. I can work my way through some of the RPGs with a dictionary next to me, but I'm going to make some mistakes. My intention is to play the games on original unmodified hardware. I have an AV Famicom, the second revision, that outputs just composite. The picture won't look as sharp as if I emulated it or had a RGB modded console, but I'm trying to stick to the original hardware as much as possible. There will likely be points where I will have to play the US version of a game or possibly an emulated version of a game. I won't hit those for quite a while, though. Now, if you're a big Famicom fan, you might have noticed that 1,041 games doesn't really match the list of Famicom software that's out there. For my own sanity, I am eliminating certain things. By games only, I'm not including Famicom Basic, Famicom Tax Preparation software, Famicom Bicycle Design software. all of those are out. For commercial releases, things like homebrew games and the Columbus Circle releases in recent years are not being included. And for Famicom-only games, I'm not counting anything that relies on external hardware for any kind of processing or memory. So detached games, Famicom Disk System games, the Study Box, the Konami system that is used for educational software, none of those will be counted in this. Other peripherals are fine. Basically, the dividing line is, do you plug something into the Famicom cartridge slot and then plug another cartridge into what you plugged into that cartridge? Okay, let's get started with this and move on to episode 1. I'll see you there.